is the day before Friday the 13th. A couple days before the year of the snake ends. Thank God this year is ending. Because I can't take anymore. I've done plenty of shedding, and I'm honestly so over it. I'm in my bathroom right now, and honestly, I kind of feel like Trisha Paytas a little bit in like 2017, 2018, when she used to kind of regulate herself by just sitting on her kitchen floor and crying. That's me with the bathroom. The kitchen just doesn't do it for me. It's the bathroom. I don't know what it is, the vibes of the bathroom. Maybe it's the fact that I was born in a bathroom. So maybe it's just a weird biological, psychological way of knowing that I'm safe. I don't know. All I know is that I have had the hardest life, honestly. Like, I was gonna say the last 5 years of my life have been very, very hard, but then I'm like, you know what? My childhood was very, very difficult too. So I've had a very hard 25 years of life. But something that I'm realizing, and I'm processing this out loud, and that's why I thought I would pull my camera out, because I don't really have anyone to talk to, honestly. I have my sister, which, you know, I can talk to her about anything, and it's not that I couldn't call her right now, but she's also a mom and has her own life, and, you know, sometimes I'm noticing that I process things very, I need to talk about it. I'm not someone who can kind of just process discomfort and uncomfortability, like, to myself and in quiet. I have to just talk, and even if that means I'm talking by myself out loud. I know that sounds a little bit weird, but it's the truth. It just kind of helps me realize how I'm feeling. And what I'm feeling is, I guess, I'm uncomfortable, but I'm feeling some clarity at the same time, because I am recognizing that, well, the last, I want to say, from 0 to 18, there wasn't much control in my life at all. I was a child, you know, living with my parents, and I had very neglectful, abusive parents, so at least my dynamic was kind of like you had no control in the house. You just didn't. And the only thing I could really control in those 18 years was myself, my reactions, my feelings, and the way that I behaved. But I couldn't control anything else. And I had something very traumatic happen at 18. My father passed away about 2 weeks before I graduated, which was very hard on me. And from the time I was like 18 to now, I've definitely had some really good memories and really fun experiences, and I'm not saying that it was all bad, but from the time I was 18 to now, 25, I've noticed many themes are constantly coming up in my life. And maybe it was just immaturity before, because I was a little bit younger, my frontal lobe, you know, my brain wasn't, you know, I'm just more developed now, I guess. You know, I kind of always thought, why are these things happening to me? Why is this happening to me? And I would always just say that. And there were constant themes and patterns, though, that have been happening within the last 6 years, however long that span is, 8 years, I don't know, 25, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 7 years. And the themes were that I was very lonely, and I would always feel lonely. Now, the difference is lonely at 25 right now, and lonely in those years. So, at 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, I had a lot of people in my life. I had a boyfriend during that time. I was surrounded by his family, but I also had a group of friends. I had groups of friends that I was very close with, that I hung out with, that I, constantly around. But now at 25, I have no one. And it's a different type of lonely. I don't have a group of friends anymore. I'm single. It's a different type of lonely, but regardless, lonely. Another theme and pattern was that I didn't understand, and I didn't like the way people treated me. I always felt like my boyfriend and even my friends always kind of went, whereas I have always went above and beyond for my friends. I always felt, and my boyfriend, I always felt like they did bare minimum for me, and I didn't understand why. I didn't understand why I was constantly disrespected by my friends, by my boyfriend, by his family, by people who were supposed to love me and care for me. I didn't understand why certain things didn't work out for me. A certain job, a certain plan that I had. Didn't understand any of that. I didn't understand why other people got things that I really wanted, but I was still stuck not having it, even though I know I deserved it. Those are just a couple of constant patterns that I've noticed within the last 7 years that have just kept coming up, every couple months. And, noticing it like, oh my God, the same things, the same problems that I had last year are happening this year. And it's like, I used to just sit there and think, why? Why is this happening to me? And now I can sit here and I think differently. And I look at life a little bit differently. And now I look at things not like, why is this happening to me? I don't know if this is maturity, but I think, what is this trying to teach me? And just a conclusion that I've come to is that I have played a role in my own suffering for so long. Within the last 8 years. I don't want to say anything from before 18 years old, because I don't think I played a role in that suffering, and I was also a child, and there's many complex things that go into that in childhood, and I just kind of want to talk about my adulthood right now. And what I'm realizing is that I have played a role in my own suffering. And how have I done that? Well, I've been unhappy the last 7 years. And I don't want to say that I've been depressed the last 7 years, because I don't think that I've been depressed at all. Like, I don't think I've had overall feelings of depression at all. But I guess maybe just feelings of not like I'm not fulfilled. Like I have so much potential and I know what I want my life to look like, but I'm not even close. And I didn't understand why. And I'm realizing that I've abandoned myself. I've abandoned myself for 7 years now. And how did I abandon myself? Well, all of those problems that I was having over those 7 years, that pattern came with behavior that I had and feelings that I had. So for the last 7 years, I've abandoned myself. I have. For the last 7 years, have put other people's needs and wants before my own. I put my boyfriend before myself. I always did what he wanted to do. I stopped doing things for myself, like getting ready for the day, going shopping. I did not shop. The entire relationship that I was in with him, I didn't shop ever. And he even mentioned a couple times, like, you never shop, you never close shop. I didn't. I would always dress down. I let myself go, meaning like I just didn't take care of myself. I didn't eat well. I didn't exercise. And truthfully, I just didn't have any hobbies. I was doing nothing to get to know myself. I knew I wanted more romance. I knew I wanted to go out on dates. I knew I wanted gifts. I knew I wanted, him to be a little bit more, I wanted him to be more dominant, masculine, and like kind of take the lead and just have me like receive. But that didn't happen because I completely turned into the masculine. So I abandoned myself in that way. I completely let go of my feminine energy. And I was only with him for like about 3.5, 4 years. But that's a huge way I abandoned myself. I abandoned myself by also moving in with him. I shouldn't have moved in with him. I shouldn't have lived with him and his family. And also, I should have spoken up for myself more. I abandoned myself too when I started to let him disrespect me, when I started to try to just keep the peace, even though I know I was uncomfortable, even though I know I wasn't happy in the relationship, even though I know I wasn't getting my needs and my wants met. I abandoned myself. I didn't choose myself in that relationship. And what I'm learning now is that even in a relationship, you should always choose yourself. You should always come first, and your partner should always, kind of come second. Another way I abandoned myself, not even romantically, but in my friendships. I abandoned myself by not letting go of friendships sooner, even though I knew I should have. I knew I was outgrowing people. I knew that as we were getting older, our compatibility as friends, because, I mean, in your early 20s, your personality, honestly, is still kind of developing, your self-identity. You're changing a lot. And I recognized how much I was changing, and I recognized how much everyone else was changing too. And kind of recognized that certain things didn't mesh well with others anymore. You know, certain values, certain goals, overall what we want. And not to say that your friends, you know, everything needs to be the same. No, completely not. But I just noticed that, for example, I was friends with people who never wanted to go out. Never. They never wanted to go out. They always wanted to stay home and hang out that way, which is fine. And I don't mind that sometimes, but I am a young adult. I wanted to go out, you know. We didn't have any bills. We didn't have any, well, we had like, you know, car insurance and stuff, but we didn't have any big bills. We didn't have commitments yet besides our jobs. I wanted to go out and live my life, and I didn't. And I settled for just doing the same old, coming over, scrolling on our phones, talking, maybe watching Netflix. That wasn't fulfilling to me. And I feel like that killed, that killed a little bit of something in me for my friendships. Everyone also wanted to get settled and married pretty quickly in life. Like, my one friend was engaged at 20, and my other one was engaged at, I think, 21, and I didn't understand it. And I'm not gonna lie, this is the first year in my life where I've ever even considered getting married. I was not someone who ever really wanted to get married. I wasn't the kid who grew up wanting to get married, who dreamed about, I never thought about it, ever. Even in my early 20s, all my friends had dream weddings, and I didn't want it at all. I didn't consider it. You know, I would talk about it with my boyfriend, but I kind of knew that him and I would never wind up getting married, so I didn't really think about it that much. But they wanted to settle down so quickly, and I noticed they were putting their boyfriends before everything too, before their careers, before their goals, before their friends too. And I didn't like it. And even though I was doing it too, I recognized it and I didn't like it. And, well, another way I abandoned myself was staying in places that no longer served me. Jobs where I wasn't happy, jobs where I wasn't growing. And honestly, something that I have learned about myself is that the minute I stop learning at a job and stop growing, it's my time to kind of see myself out. Because that's when I kind of start to hate a job. I am someone who gets bored very, very easily. I constantly need stimulation at a job. I constantly want to be learning something. But when there's nothing else to learn, and when, you know, management and supervisors aren't really encouraging it or pushing it anymore, I just kind of get bored and I just want to leave. But I abandoned myself that way because I stayed a little bit too long at jobs that I didn't like, that I knew wasn't in my future, that I knew was not good for me, that I knew was, you know, lowballing my pay, and I stayed. And you know, another way I played into my own suffering all those years was my mindset. Something that I'm really, really, really recognizing as an adult right now is that this world and your world is a mirror. And what you say really does come true, and you really need to be careful. And not only what you say, but also what you think. I have two great examples of this. I remember the first time that I was trying to buy a car. This was in 2020 when car prices were not astronomical. But in 2020, I needed a car so bad. Well, I didn't need one, but I kind of needed one. I was getting to the point where I needed one. I was 20 years old. And I had a lot of money saved up to buy it. And every time I started to look for a car, like somehow it would just fall through or something would, not be right with it or the price would go up. And, also I was a young girl trying to go into a dealership and buy a car. And, sometimes they just like to one up you or, get one over on you. And I was becoming very frustrated. Like I remember looking for a car for about 6 months straight, could not find a single thing. And I was feeling extremely discouraged, and I still remember this. There was one day where I sat on my boyfriend's bed, and I think he was at work or something. Maybe he went to go get food, but I was alone in the room. And I remember he had this big window next to his bed. And I sat on the edge of the bed, and I closed my eyes, and I really focused on my breathing. And I closed my eyes, and I envisioned myself opening a car door, getting inside of it, and I literally tried to feel all of the feelings that I would have when I buy my first car. So that feeling of being proud, happy, just super excited. I started to feel that within myself, and I literally started to talk out loud. And I started to say things like, I am so thankful for this new car. I'm going to take such good care of it. I love that it's mine. And I was so excited. And I was so proud. And I was saying it. I was saying it out loud. I am so proud of myself for buying my car. And what do you know? Within a week, I bought my car. And I still have my car. And then another thing is my house. When I was filling out my application to get my house, I was feeling very, very discouraged because I hadn't heard back. I was getting real nervous. And I remember one day, I drove past this house. Even though I wasn't approved yet, like nothing. But I drove past the house in my car. I drove past it. And I remember I was driving, and this was only a couple months ago. I was driving past it, and I started to, again, do that same thing where I focused on my breathing, and then I just thought to myself, what am I going to feel like when I get this apartment? I'm going to feel, again, extremely proud of myself. I'm going to feel so happy. I'm going to be over the moon. So that's how I started to feel. I drove past this house, and I was like, oh my God, I am so excited to move in. I cannot believe I got this house. I am so proud of myself. I am so excited to decorate my room. I love it already. Mind you, I'd never even seen like the inside, but I was just talking. And what do you know? Within a week, they called me and said I got accepted. And that right now is just a huge, huge realization that your inner thoughts and your feelings really do control your world. And all of those years, I thought and had just inner thinking that was very negative. Why is this happening to me? Why don't my friends love me? Why doesn't my boyfriend treat me good enough? Why doesn't he treat me like a princess? Why am I having to deal with this? Like, very woe is me. No accountability in any of that either. Because that was my life, because I accepted that. My boyfriend not treating me like a princess. My friends kind of, whatever, not really, most of the time not prioritizing me, just, being bare minimum, my job not appreciating me. It's because I accepted that. You accept, like, your life is a reflection of you, and all of that was happening because I was accepting it. I didn't demand more, and I definitely didn't discourage it. And that's what I'm learning now, because all last week, well, honestly, all of this week, I've had major anxiety. I've had horrible anxiety about everything. My nervous system is so dysregulated. My anxiety is through the roof. I was having actual car troubles, and I remember thinking, what else could go wrong? Like, I just fixed my car, what else could go wrong? I hope nothing else is bad. Like, I was just talking very negatively, and then, what do you know, within a day, something else went wrong with my car. And it is just a huge sign that I am playing a role in why my life isn't up to par, why my life isn't up to my standards, to what I want, because I'm accepting everything that is below my standards. And quite literally, then I'm questioning and feeling upset about it. And it's almost like insanity. Like you're choosing the same thing over and over and then wondering why you're not getting a different result. Like, what is that? And why did I do that for so many years? Was that straight up immaturity? Was that conditioning? Was it probably a little bit of both? Like, why? I don't understand. And it's February 12th, and I'm done with this. I'm done with this. I'm no longer accepting the bare minimum out of life. I am completely demanding more, and I'm expecting more. I am not going to allow myself to think another negative thought about myself, about my life, about my future. I am not going to do it anymore. I am refusing to do it because look at where it's gotten me. I'm now 25 and nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. I still think, nothing has changed. I don't have the relationship. I don't have a relationship, but I don't have the relationship that I want. I don't have the prospects that I want. I don't have the friendships that I want. I don't have necessarily the career that I want. And it's all because of me. It is all because of me, because I haven't done the work to get more. And now I'm over it. If I'm going to sit there and be an anxious mess and overthink, I am going to overthink some positive thoughts. That's where I'm at right now. I'm going to overthink some positive thoughts. I am so done blaming everyone else and blaming everything else for the reason why my life is the way it is. I'm not doing it anymore. I am just completely refusing to do it. It's exhausting. It's left me so dysregulated. It has left me so lonely. And honestly, all I can blame is myself. And I just, it's 2026 and I'm done. I am ready to receive and live the life that I know I deserve, the life that I want, the life that I desire, and I know that it's already mine. I know that it's out there, and I know that I clearly have to do some inner work, but I'm going to do it. And I'm kind of, in a weird way, happy that I've recognized this, because I could have won a couple more years not even taking this whole thing into consideration, not even taking the fact that I have let myself and fear and fear of being lonely, fear of abandonment, fear of commitment, I have let all of that stop me from receiving the life that I know I truly want and desire, and I'm not doing that anymore, and I can't do it anymore. So this is accountability. This is responsibility. This is, I guess, maturity in a way. And this is me talking to myself and processing and also manifesting too, because I just told myself that I'm going to change and that I'm going to do better and that the life that I want is out there and it's mine already, and I'm just waiting on the universe to give it to me, and I need to be able to accept it. I need to be ready to accept it. So this is me saying, I'm ready to accept it. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to change for myself, and I'm excited. It is, 9 o'clock at night now. I'm in my little silk or satin robe. I can't really show that because it's kind of inappropriate, but a little like sleep dress. My hair isn't just up in a messy bun. I have it all cute and tied back, and I'm about to create a nighttime routine because that's really what I need. I'm about to create one, and I'm going to create a morning one too, and I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to chill out. I'm going to read, and I'm going to enjoy life, and I'm going to just think and act positively. I'm kind of glad I pulled the camera out because if not, I just realized I would kind of be sitting here in my bathroom talking to myself the entire time. But now I feel like I'm not talking to myself because even though I kind of am, I'm kind of talking to people, to other people too. If anyone decides to feel a little bit more regulated, like I've processed everything and I've come to terms with a solution, and yeah. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I'm sure I will be back because I'm a yapper. I need to talk. And honestly, if no one is going to listen, then it'll just be me listening, and it doesn't really matter. But, yeah. Good night.